Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. Welcome back to a brand new match preview on the channel. It's FA Cup action this week for Wolves. We're on the travels as we visit Ewood Park to take on Championship side Blackburn Rovers. I tell you what, I'm really looking forward to this game. I'm going to be heading up to Ewood Park as well on Sunday, so if you do see me, do say hello. But another interesting game, another game where, of course, we go into as favourites, but sort of similar to the Bristol City game, although it seemed like plain sailing in the opening stages of that game. They certainly gave us a much tougher test from the second half onwards, and I'm really expecting another tough test against Blackburn, who are a team winning games in the Championship and sort of knocking on the door potentially for a playoff place, and some familiar faces which we'll get into as well. As always, be sure to hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel guys if you haven't already. If you never caught some of the videos towards the end of the transfer window, I really appreciate your support as well throughout the start of 2025, because it's been a really positive start for us, and hopefully we can kick on, and I'm hoping to take the channel in certain new directions and new levels over the next few months or so, heading into the summer and next season as well. So your support is always greatly appreciated. But Vitor Pereira had his pre-match press conference today. Nothing majorly of note. Of course, we had his opinion and thoughts on the transfer window. Now it is closed. It sounds really happy to, of course, be keeping hold of Matheus Cunha for at least the remainder of the season. There have been some details of that contract that have been reported on over the last 24 or 48 hours or so, but I may discuss that a little bit more on a video over the weekend. But also, you know, talking about some of the new guys that have come in, of course, Giga, and Marshall Manetzi, who have signed on deadline day as well. Now, Manetzi has been in training a little bit longer. I think he arrived sort of Tuesday, Wednesday. Giga only sort of arrived yesterday. So the chances are neither of them start the game. However, if one were to start, I think Manetzi is probably the favourite to do so, to be completely honest. But it's an interesting thing, because we've had a week since, or we will have had a week since the Villa game, which we won, and then it will be another week until the game against Liverpool. So there's a really nice amount of breathing space between the two fixtures. And that really means that Vitor could play quite a strong team. Of course, one thing you have to bear in mind is obviously fatigue, or mainly sort of injuries and stuff. But Wolves could, you know, if they want to take the FA Cup seriously, which I think they have every right to do so, you know, they could go with a really strong team. Now, Vitor didn't really give much away in what we've seen from the pre-match press conference. Hasn't really given much away in terms of how strong the team is going to be. I think in terms of changes, you'll probably see Sam Johnston come in for Jose Sarr. The back line, I think he's got a host of options. I thought the back five, for what it's worth, did really, really well. You could probably keep Totti in there to keep his sharpness up. Agbadu, of course, has been very good as well. Do you bring someone like Nasser Giga in, you know, to sort of almost bed him in, because this is possibly a good opportunity to bed him in, get used to the English game a little bit more, get used to his teammates. And the same with Manetzi as well, because it's a difficult position, those two holding midfield positions, because with how Vitor plays, there's only two spots really. Of course, Mario Lemina's now gone. You've got Andre, you've got João Gomez, you've got Jean-Rick Bellegarde now, who actually put in a really positive performance. You've got Tommy Doyle, who obviously we know is a quality player. I think Vitor knows that, but just doesn't quite fit into how Vitor wants to play right now. So that's probably where the most competition is really. And then you go into the front three. You could see a world where I don't think Strand Larsen will play. You could see a world where Sarabia, Cunha, and Gonzalo Guedes all start again. But then you've got the option of Rodrigo Gomez, who fully deserves minutes. Carlos Forbes maybe is an outside shout in there as well. You know, you've got a lot of players, Hwang, who could start and could, you know, play. Pedro Lima as an outside shout as well, maybe to come in on the right hand side. So there's loads of options there, and I'm really intrigued. I would love to see us go full strength, because I think against Bristol City we actually played a stronger team than I think a lot of people expected. So if we can go full strength, hopefully get the win, because it is going to be a tricky test, and advance into the next round, the fifth round, that would be amazing. Because the FA Cup, of course, I've not seen Wolves win a major piece of silverware in my lifetime. Obviously under Nuno we got into the semi-final which we unfortunately threw away, and we gave it a good go last year as well. But I think now, whilst the fixtures are fairly favourable, we go with a strong team. Obviously, get used to a bit more of a winning feeling, which is obviously great. Keep the morale up in the camp, which hopefully will translate to better performances and results in the Premier League as well. But to give these fans that little bit of hope again, and maybe winning a piece of silverware would be an unbelievable feeling. Genuinely, it would be so good. And it's, one of the most reputable and, biggest competitions in world football. So if Wolves have an opportunity to excel in that and hopefully go on to win it, that would be, of course, an amazing feeling as well. But yeah, I mean, I won't give you a predicted lineup because genuinely I don't know what route Vitor will go down. But this is genuinely an opportunity to go with a strong team. But there are probably players on the fringes of the squad. I think in particular probably Rodrigo Gomez, who do deserve more minutes. But I think if you can rock up to Ewood Park and you're starting the likes of, Cunha and, Andre and co, I think, you got a massive chance to win that game. But I'm really intrigued to see if the new boys do get some minutes. And do, obviously we can see how they get on for the first time as well. And before we move on to the opposition perspective, best of luck to the Wolves women as well. It's a massive cup tie for them. On Saturday evening, they play Manchester United women, one of the biggest teams in the country right now. Massive test for Dan McNamara and the girls, but really hope they do well. Unfortunately, I can't make it to the game. But if you haven't been to a Wolves women game before, whether it's this game or throughout the rest of the season, I recommend going to check them out. I've watched them a few times in person. It's such an enjoyable experience. So best of luck to them for that game, and of course the rest of the season as well. But we'll move on to the opposition perspective now. We get the thoughts of Dirk from Rovers to get the insight on Blackburn, how their season's been going on and how they're looking going into this FA Cup tie.
Dirk here of Blackburn Rovers, looking forward to Rovers entertaining Wolves in the FA Cup this coming Sunday. Now, Rovers are actually coming into this still in the playoffs, but it's one of those scenarios where nobody seems to want to remain in the playoffs. This is the Championship, of course. We'd love to be there, but I don't think we will end up there. I just think our squad is not good enough. But John Eustace has been just working, punching above his weight, and that's Blackburn Rovers at the moment. So, we started off strong. We've gone through a real bad lull in January, as we seem to do season in, season out. This game is coming at a point where, ideally, I don't think we really want it. But on the other side, it does gives a chance to see some fringe players, perhaps, who can maybe stake a claim. But ideally, I anticipate a rotated squad with a lot of our main core players resting, because we've got a big game coming at you on the Wednesday. So it's pretty thick and fast. I'm sure you remember the days in the Championship where the games just are non-stop. How strong would our squad be? Well, I do anticipate a change in goalkeeper. It depends, actually. It depends on how you look at it, because we did strengthen in the transfer window. We brought in Emmanuel Dennis, who can score goals at Premier League with Watford. So I'm hoping to see a bit of him. Cauley Woodrow, I know it probably causes you nightmares, doesn't it? Cauley Woodrow, running at you. But no, it's these are players who have got a reputation in the Championship, but that's pretty much it. So strength-wise, I think it's just going to be, well, my expectation and my hope is that some fringe players get a run out, and the core players like Lewis Travis, Maktar Gay, our striker at the moment, Callum Britton, probably one of our standouts this season, Ainsley Pears, all resting it up, just taking it easy. So I'm hoping for a rotated team that gives us a chance to look at the Cauley Woodrows, the Emmanuel Dennises, the Cargbos, maybe even Adam Forshaw, again, a player that's not really going to cause any problems or nightmares for Wolves fans. Key players to look out for Blackburn, well, again, depends on who starts. Emmanuel Dennis, I mentioned him already. It was our marquee signing of the transfer window. It is on loan. Rumour has it he's getting paid an absolute fortune at Nottingham Forest, so we are paying a portion of those wages. And he could be the most lucrative signing we've made. Well, I think it is the most lucrative signing we have made in a long, long time. I know it's only on loan, but it's one of those players that when fit and raring to go, he could be one to get you off your seat. So I'm excited to see him start. Cogbo is another fella. Of course, nobody knows what he is. He's a bit of a mystery, but he's coming out of Serie B. He kind of ripped it up in the third tier of Italian football from Sierra Leone, an unknown quantity to us, probably, and definitely to the rest of the world. But we saw a brief cameo against QPR the other day where he came on as a substitute, and he actually had the most positive play we had the whole match. So within just a couple of minutes being on, so he looks rapid. Looking forward to seeing him. Cantwell could start. Todd Cantwell, of course, you should know him from his days at Norwich. He really ripped it up when he was a Canary back in the day. Kind of went off the boil with Rangers. He's kind of had a bit of a staggered start with Rovers. Maybe not been at 100% just yet, but I do anticipate him to get some minutes. So he's one to keep an eye out for. And Ribeiro is another addition. Formerly of Nottingham Forest, again seems to be a trend here. We're getting a lot of Forest cast-offs. But he was over in Braga, Portugal. I'm sure Wolves fans know Portugal football well, because you seem to pick up a bunch of players season in, season out from Portugal, an untapped market. But this guy's familiar to the Championship with Forest. They love him, or they loved him when he was there. But he joined. And I do anticipate him to start because Owen Beck, our loanee from Liverpool, has been playing pretty much week in, week out and is absolutely knackered. So those are guys to look out for. As for Danny Bart, he's, right here, right now, believe it or not, despite his ripe old age, he is player of the season contender right now. He's been phenomenal at the back. Brought in lastminute.com in the summer transfer window. We all turned our nose up at him thinking, oh, what are we doing? What are we doing? But no, he's been absolutely phenomenal. A Royals Royce of a defender, rolling back the years, having a true Indian summer of his career. I would love for him to be rested for this game, but because we're a little bit threadbare at the back, he probably will play against his old boys there, Wolves. So you might see him. As for my prediction, to be honest with you, I'm not anticipating much. I think this is a game for both Wolves and Rovers that really we don't really want. I think Wolves have a good chance to win this game, and I'm going to anticipate a win. I'll go into that in a minute. And Wolves could probably make a good run of this if you choose to do so. But it is, of course, one of those games. We're focusing on trying to remain in the top six. I'm sure you guys would exchange this cup run to remain in the Premier League for another season. So I do anticipate a Wolves victory here, 2-1 win. I'm not going to lie to you. I'd love a win. Of course I would. But I think our priorities lie elsewhere, and another game and another match week is just another opportunity for us to lose key players with their injury or suspension or whatever. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 win, Wolverhampton Wanderers. And that is it. Appreciate it. Make sure you check me in. I'm on the Blackburn Rovers season, one-stop shop, Blackburn Rovers content, Championship content. I've got it all here under one roof. Catch you later. Appreciate it, Dave. Catch you later. Ciao.
So big thank you for that. I'll make sure I'll leave a link to Dirk's YouTube channel in the description down below if you want to check out more of his stuff. And as always, guys, do let me know your thoughts and score predictions going into this game. If you're heading up to Ewood Park as well, look after yourselves and hopefully you enjoy it. And fingers crossed we come home with a win and with our name in the hat for the next round of the FA Cup draw. As always, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you on the next one.